Hi everyone, it's Susan Kennedy here with a reading for you for this week. I'm recording this on Sunday, June the 11th, and a big thank you to those of you who are new to the channel and for those of you that have already subscribed. So my channel is fairly new here on YouTube. I've been reading for many years on Facebook, but my goal each week is just to bring you some insight, a little bit of a guide map, something to think about for the week coming up, and something that will hopefully give you a little bit of understanding of maybe what has just been happening. It's always the past that predicates the present and the future. I work with the Council of Light and beautiful angelic guides, galactic beings, all sorts of angelic frequencies. And so whilst I don't individually name them each week, I know that they are working through me, and that their goal in a way is to help us feel more inspired, more empowered, and to feel like we are not alone. So on that note, this week's reading is about having the courage and the faith in yourself to reset your boundaries. And I know that of late, many of you may have been challenged with people overstepping your boundaries, and maybe you've observed this in your life with other people. But that kind of energy where people have maybe just overstepped the mark in what they've said or what they've done. And it's this energy of gaslighting, where people have absolutely not honoured the relationship that you have, whatever that relationship is. So this could be in work situations, it could be in family situations, could be in friendships or more personal relationships. So if your boundaries have been severely compromised in some way, and maybe you can't remember that, but I just invite you to think back maybe the last two weeks or so, and just say, okay, where did that person really overstep the mark? Where was I not valued? Where was I not appreciated? Where did somebody truly not listen to what I'd asked for? So if that energy has been there for you, and I can say that categorically it will have been there somewhere, then this is a time to actually understand your value. This whole week we're going into the new moon in Gemini, beautiful energy, but this whole week is about new intentions, seeing you differently, doing things differently. So it's a great week to make new intentions. The new moon's the 17th and 18th of June. So the new moon's always that time when the moon disappears from the sky. And whilst it seems to be not there, it is there. It's just that it's not in our view. And this is a time when we've just been in the light of this full moon. And this full moon would have really brought up our shadow in a big way. So the shadow side of us, that part we don't always like to look at and acknowledge. And the shadow is there in each and every one of us because we haven't always had physical life as easy as it is in this life. So in past lives, and we've all had past lives, we've been souls on journeys. Some of us have had more earthly lives, some of us have had more lives on other planets, in other dimensions. But for those of us, we've all had many physical incarnations. And if you think back to even the times of your grandparents, of how much harder life was just to survive, had to do the washing by hand. I can remember, not in my lifetime, but I've heard people talk about, more in Australia because I grew up in the UK, but I've heard people talking about times when they didn't have fridges and they just had a box that was kind of a cold box that you had to put things into, and that somebody used to come around and deliver the ice into the box. So, this lifetime, we've had more physical comfort and more physical ease. But the traces within our psyche and within our DNA of survival are still really, really strong. So there will have been times, especially this year, where we're being really cracked open in a big way. So it's kind of like seismic shifts this year, where we're being really cracked open to look at our limiting thoughts and beliefs, our patterns of how we act, of how we show up in the world. All of those things are really online this year. And so when that's happening, the shadow side of us comes out, that side that goes, oh my God, what if I can't survive? Maybe I need to do more of this or less of that. But there's that kind of limitation energy that sinks in. And of course, we're moving into Aquarius. We're moving into an age of mutual cooperation, of understanding the power that we have as spiritual beings in this human body to actually use the power of our intention, the power of our thoughts, the power of our love to actually co-create with the universe. And co-creation is what Aquarius is all about. It's about doing things differently, weaving a new web around yourself of beautiful light and intention. So as we go into the new moon, you may have been very aware of your shadow. There may have been parts of yourself that you've gone, I don't like that part. So this is a great time for healing, a great time for acceptance, letting go, and revisioning the way that you want life to be. Now, Neptune is very online as well with this new moon. And Neptune's that planet. It's very watery, but it's about illusions. It's all about the ways that we either see ourselves or we see others, and that we're not seeing things necessarily as they really are. So maybe again this week, take some time to notice the illusions that you have and how that affects your everyday thinking. There is a strong energy at the moment, and I say this because of the people that I work with, my colleagues, my friends, the clients that do see me, knowing that there's this strong energy of what's the point? What's the point of life? Where is my value? What should I be doing? All these kind of things that are coming up. And that's the illusion, you see. That's the illusion of being separate. That's the illusion even of ego in a way that says we have to be important and we have to have something special. And yet when we can understand that we're part of everything, and that just by being who we are, that just by being joyful or being sometimes even being miserable is okay. We don't have to be what we are not. So I think this week more and more acceptance of the ups and downs, the mood swings maybe, the 1 minute it's great, the next minute it's down. It is what it is. But more importantly, the illusion of you being separate, not being part of the whole, not being part of this great tapestry of life. Each and every one of you are part of this great tapestry of life. You all came in to experience love, to experience wholeness, unity, to experience connection with others. And so whatever it is that keeps you separate, whatever it is that keeps you stuck, see the illusion of that this week. You may get some blinding flashes of aha moments. I had one this morning and I went, oh, now I understand that. And it comes back to things like expectations. You know, I'm a great adventurer. I love to do things that are adventurous and different. And I kind of was going back over maybe the last 2 years, and I was going, well, when I tried that happened and it didn't quite turn out as I expected. So whatever's been going on recently for you, last 2 to 3 years, look at the illusions of that, and then maybe go back a bit further and say, well, when you did these things before, were things better? Did you get what you expected? And it's kind of an understanding that everything is what it is in the moment, but more and more we're being called to look at the illusions that we don't have the power to see good in everything, to change everything, so that we are the ones that are co-creating with the universe our experience of ourselves. That felt a bit long-winded, but I hope you understand what I'm saying, is that we are the creators. And it's this week in the new moon, I would encourage you to really spend some time to write down your intentions, to really say, what is it you want to manifest in the next, lunar cycle, in the next 28 days, that's going to bring you closer to your soul, closer to your purpose. Your purpose, remember, is always being authentically and uniquely you, not being ashamed of your past, not trying to cover anything up, but just being, living, experiencing the joy of this life. So I'm using the Angel Tarot this week. I don't think I've used these in a public reading before. They're by Jane Wallace. Not a huge fan of tarot, by the way, but I like the energy of these cards. She's done a beautiful job with them. So I'm just asking for 3 cards from Spirit as to what other, I guess, depth or information we need to be aware of this week that's going to help us navigate through, get that little bit of sparkle back in our lives, get that faith and hope back in our hearts. So let's just see where we go with this. Oh, how beautiful. Page of Cups, friendship. Beautiful dolphin in that photo. And the page energy is always about youth. It's about, and this is interesting when I was talking earlier about, how sometimes we have disappointments and illusions. When we're children, we often believe we can do anything. There's this kind of, jumping off cliffs and climbing trees and sort of saying, well, I've got all this energy. And I had a little vision myself this week where I was walking and I could actually see myself doing somersaults and things. And I'm like, well, I've never been able to do that. But it was almost like Spirit were dropping that into my mind to say your physical body is far more agile and able than what you ever imagined it to be. So youth has a sense of flexibility. It has a sense of longevity. So I believe this week your cup will feel full. You will feel that healing power of nature. It's a return to the knowledge, I guess, that you are limitless. And I know that we have limitations in many ways. Sometimes we have, limitations of our finances or our physical bodies, and yet the mind, the heart, your energy field is limitless. It can go wherever it needs to go. And remember that when you think about someone that you care about, when you think about the world, the power that you have is to put a beautiful framework of energy and love around those people or these experiences that can actually physically change it. So beautiful angelic frequency there. Love that one. What else do we have for this week? The Chariot, Angel of Guidance. Now, interesting with the Chariot card, you have the black horse and the white horse, a bit like the red pill and the blue pill in the Matrix. Will I go this way or will I go that way? What I'm seeing is you will be faced with a choice this week of which way to go, what kind of direction to take, and trust that whichever way you go, your guidance is always coming in, and you can always change direction to bring it back to a point of it being purposeful for you and meaningful. I hear so many people through my readings talking about, well, what, if I do this, is it the right thing? It's always the right thing if we can make it meaningful for us, if we can look for the learning and the understanding. But I do feel this week, the Chariot's always about travel. So journeys, what journeys will you take? Will you be single focused? Now, so Council of Light energy coming in. I feel very strong Arcturian energy at the moment. And that energy or that frequency, that vibration is kind of like justice. It's certainty, it's strength, and it's balance. But it's focus, and it's saying, will you please follow the knowingness that you have that this is the right action to take, that this is the right thing to say, that this is the right moment in time. And regarding moments in time, please stop waiting for time to be perfectly aligned. The moment you take action, the timelines come in. So we're often waiting for somebody else to do something or something to be more perfect. But the moment you take action, timelines start to converge. It's like everything's waiting on the sidelines. And so if there's a decision you've been sitting on this week, this is the week to make it. If there's a time when you've been saying, well, is it important for me to get back and do this? Should I rejoin this? Should I restart this? Should I take a new direction? Start. Because that moment you do that, all of the supporting energy starts to come in and align with you. Beautiful. So very strong Arcturian focus and a lot of learning through that, a lot of strong guidance, strong knowing, determination is the other word that I hear, a determination to not give up on yourself. Okay, is it that one? That one. Wow, I love this card. Angel of Success, the World card, which kind of ties in with the travel energy, the Chariot, the world, maybe seeing things differently. So if you are traveling, well, enjoy it, because I'm always super excited when I hear about people's journeys. But this also speaks of standing in your power, having those firm boundaries that we spoke about earlier, having that sense of clarity, seeing through the illusions. I'm just kind of seeing in my mind that, what are we, nearly 8 billion people on the planet? Let's discard maybe 1 billion of those, because they could be children that aren't, let's say, consciously focusing at the moment. But of those people who consciously focus on their world, on their life, let's say there's 7 billion people consciously focusing on the way they want their life to be. And I just had this image of the world with all of these visions around it, you know, this energy that goes out there that is constantly putting something into the etheric field that is weaving and creating the world that we live in. So more and more recognize your part in that, recognize that that you have the capacity to vision your life the way you want it to be. But there's a lot of that visioning that's going on is unconscious, and it's fear-based. So we are moving into the love-based. We're moving into the energy of this beautiful flowing frequency. And I just saw the Neptune energy. It was like the image of Neptune rising out of the ocean and saying, at last people are understanding that everything is an illusion. Everything is a creation. And because it's largely illusion, we can recreate it, but more the choice that you have. So the success this week will be through the choices that you make. The choices to make friends. I don't mean like physically go out and make friends. I mean make friends with your life. Make friends with your situation. Make friends with whatever is going on for you, so that you can see your life with a cup full. That you can see everything that's going on for you as having meaning and depth, and that you can actually really, really feel the energy of pure thankfulness for the gift of this life. And I kind of feel very emotional when I say that. So I do believe there will be a return this week to gratitude. One of the other things that is in the notes that I tuned into before the reading was so many people are struggling with the fear of money, you know, or lack of it, because we've got interest rates rising, not just here in Australia, but around the world. This is a time of rebalancing, of looking at what resources we have. And as a society, we've become a very throwaway society. We've become one that doesn't truly value things. And I believe it's time to really step into that value mode, you know, where we kind of maybe look at what's in our wardrobe, look at what's in our cupboards, look at the food that we have in our cupboards, and say, well, you know, what can I do with that? How can I use that more, rather than always having to have something new, something fresh, something that kind of lights that fire for a small moment in time. So really going back to basics is what I feel, and knowing that always, always, always we will be sustained, we will be supported, and we will have enough. So from me, my heart to yours, hope you have a beautiful week. And thank you for those of you that do support this channel. It is evolving, it is growing, and I really appreciate your comments. I know on Facebook we used to get lots of comments, not maybe so many here because people are filling it out. But look, love to hear your comments, love to hear how life is for you. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.